Morning everybody. It's the day after our last little adventure with the Historic County Bingo Challenge. I went to Stamford Bridge and beyond yesterday. Didn't really have time for a catch-up last night, so I thought I'd do it this morning. We're into day 2 of our 4-day marathon of rain, and so far they've been pretty much it rained almost 24 hours yesterday, and looks like it's going to do the same today. So the dogs to take out, so I'll just give you this this little catch up. I've done it as a separate video because it was quite a good day really. We got quite a lot. So without further ado, I'll start on the bingo card. So I did say though I was going to, I'm also going to start, because yesterday we went into the West Riding and last week we went into we went into the North Riding yesterday, and then last week we went into the City of York. So I'm going to start the City of York. As I discussed on a previous video, it was always classed as a separate county, and while we were in the City of York last week, which I think was on the 3rd, it was the day we went to St Oswald's Church. We saw the abandoned pumping station and sewage works, or the abandoned sewage works pumping station. Down by the river Ouse. I had a real close inspection of the old maps. 3rd of the 2nd, 26. I had a real close inspection of the maps, and that actually, it was literally just the other side of the boundary. St Oswald's Church and that, as you remember, were opposite each other on the path, and the church, the old St Oswald's Church, was in the East Riding, and that pumping station was in York. So we've got our first one on the City of York. And I didn't notice anything coming through Malton yesterday. If you did, let me know. But we might as well start the North Riding. Nothing to go on there unless you noticed anything as I drove through. But yeah, this one yesterday, I had a great day. So where did we go? We went to Stamford Bridge, and although we've already got Battlefield, we did sort of part 2 of the Battle of Fulford, and we saw the Battle of Stamford Bridge, which was in September 1066. And yesterday's date was the 10th of February 2026. From there, I was in a bit of a grumpy mood, wasn't I? we went to that little village. I can't quite remember how to spell it. I wonder if it's in here. Yeah, there it is, Scrayingham. Its road runs with the Derwent, and at the end of the quiet village is a neat church made almost new in 14th century style. Well, that was the thing then, that's what they thought. And as I said to you yesterday, it wasn't until this academic went and said it was actually like 10th century and one of the sort of oldest Anglo-Saxon churches around. That's why there's a George Hudson Way. I'm going to go back and do it. In the churchyard sleeps Jane Dixon, who was born and died near Bylay's merchant prince. A merchant prince, he was George Hudson. After being a draper at York, came into a fortune which he invested in railways at a time when George Stephenson was covering England with a network of rails. He became Lord Mayor of York, director of half a dozen companies. He was nicknamed the Railway King. I'll go back. There was a 4-mile walk from the churchyard. Scrayingham. So although we've got Roman, Saxon or Viking remain, I'm going to put Scrayingham Church. As a Saxon remain, and I'm hoping to go back there in the summer. Could do it on the open day weekend, visit the church and do the little walk. So not far from there, we drove through a ford. We then went up Garraby Hill, which is on the A166, Garraby Hill, which I'm having as a famous road. Looking out for a line. No, got a way to go yet. Then at the top of that hill, I had a great time actually. It was the top of Garraby Hill. The actual summit is called Bishop Wilton Wold, and it's the highest point in the East Riding at 814 feet. There was a trig point, which is about 807. The actual higher part was the wooded little hillock. You can call them a tumuli, don't they? Tumulus. But anyway, we'll put the trig point on Bishop Wilton Wold, Garraby Hill. 10 to 26, and then the tumuli. I've researched it last night. They're Bronze Age burial mounds. The top had a load of them. I think there's only about 2 or 3 left. The others have been ploughed under. I'm frantically looking for prehistoric remains. Tumulus on top of Bishop Wilton Wold. As you see in the video, we made quite an exploration of that, Carly and I. So that's going down as my prehistoric remnant, the old burial mound on the top of Garraby Hill. And then we walked a little bit further down the road, didn't we? And we saw the RAF crash site from World War II on Garraby Hill. And I thought, not a ghost spot, but certainly local legend, isn't it? So I'll have that one as well. And then the last thing of the day was one that I thought I might struggle with actually, but then as I was out there, it suddenly came to me that I'd been there before. Was the lost village at Wharram Percy. And I'm sure we have, oh yeah, there we are. Wharram Percy. 10/2/26. So there you go, it was a great day yesterday, guys. What have we got left? Church in Field, bookshop. We're going to go to Beverley for the day. Probably get that in Beverley, won't we? We haven't done a river yet. Well, we have. We've been over the Ouse dozens of times. We've been over the Derwent a few times now. So I'll wait till a future video. We haven't got a wild card yet. We got a viewer suggestion for a post box, so I'm going to try and find an old Victoria or George post box. Maybe in Beverley. Not sure where. I'm not sure where. Got an idea. You know any castles in the East Riding that I can get to easily? Let me know. A couple of ideas. Probably on the coast. I know where that is. Just got to go see it. Don't know about that one. Local delicacies, East Riding. If you know of any, let me know. Maybe Beverley. Was going to be yesterday from the top of Garraby Hill, but the weather was appalling. Yeah, I kind of know where that is, but if you've got any ideas, let me know. Maybe in Beverley. Oh yeah, I've done that. That's not in the East Riding. We've now established it was in the West Riding. So yeah, there you go then, guys. We've nearly got a line at the bottom. We need a post box and a coastal feature. Right, I'll get the map out. Where is it? It's not cold though at the moment. It's just flipping miserable. I think the sun came out on Saturday for about 10 minutes, and then yesterday, quite tantalisingly, as I was driving across from Stamford Bridge to Garraby Hill, the sun came out on Garraby Hill for about 2 minutes, but by the time we got there, it had gone. It's yeah, it's very strange, is the weather. Anyhow, on with this map. So, previously we travelled from Leeds through Shebney Helmet to Cawood, and then we spent a day, didn't we, Stillingfleet, Neyburn, and you can see, I know I shouldn't have got a black marker, but you can see the boundary here is the river as it goes into York. We then travelled up to Fulford. We spent a couple of videos around Fulford. I've already drawn on the map. You can see we yesterday then carried on. Well, we actually went on the A64, which looks as if it kind of follows the boundary between the North Riding and the East Riding. We then got to Stamford Bridge, where the boundary becomes clearly the River Derwent, all the way up almost to Filey. We then went from Stamford Bridge up to Scrayingham, which is right on the border, and then we went back from Scrayingham back to the A166, up the A166 to the top, which would be near Bishop Wilton, because that was down the hill. We then went to Fridaythorpe here, and I then got lost, and I went up into Thixondale, back back round, and on the second occasion I went to Wharram Percy. I then, not quite sure, I think kind of went down here. It's funny, it doesn't have Norton on this map, does it? Let me know if you can see it, guys, because I can't. Anyway, I went down to the town of Norton, which is about there, which is still in the East Riding, and then went over the railway crossing, over the river bridge, and that brought us into the North Riding. And the modern A64, well, it's not there, is it? But it must come, it comes down past Huntingdon, doesn't it? So we went down, and there's Kirkham Priory. So that's going to be on our next visit. And we carried on down the A64, back down towards about there. So I'll probably pick that up next time. Maybe not from there. But yeah, so we've, as you can see, we've spread our wings a little bit, but there's an awful lot of county still unaccounted for. So I don't think I'll draw this all the way back to Leeds, but that was the journey yesterday, and I'll try and pick it up next time somewhere out here. But I've got some trips planned here and round here, and I've got trips I want to do down here, and obviously there's a day out here planned and here, so it's absolutely tons to do. So until then, thanks for watching. As always, love to hear your comments, suggestions, and as I said in yesterday's video, I hope the sun is shining where you are. Until the next time, ciao.